Hey, ladies, step into the woman you've always wanted to be. Check out the High Value Woman Blueprint. This is a soul shifting guide for women who are tired of settling, shrinking, and ready to reclaim their power with grace and confidence. So start your transformation today and download the High Value Woman Blueprint and start your journey back to your true self. Many times we talk about you are what you eat. I know you've heard people say it, you've read it, it's all over the place. You are what you eat. But we haven't talked about how what you eat affects your relationships. It affects your relationships. Now, I did pull a video to get us started. Let's watch this video, and then we have a letter. We're going to dive right into this topic, why eating flesh can affect your relationship. Here we go.
I'm not sure who you are or where you are, but if this comes across your for you, please take this as your sign. You need to stop eating flesh. You need to figure out how to remove the flesh out of your diet, and you need to stop eating flesh. Our bodies are not set up or designed to break down this flesh. Please take this as a sign. Take this as your warning. There's no hashtags or anything. You need to put the flesh down. It is doing major damage to your arteries. Trust me when I say, why is it doing damage to your arteries? Because your body can't break it down. Your digestive system can't fully break it down.
All right, let's dive into this letter. I am a 60-year-old woman who has been eating meat for as long as I can remember. For most of my life, every meal I cooked was centered around the meat first. Everything else was just the side. That's simply how I was raised, and it became second nature to me. But lately, I've been hearing so many unsettling things about the way meat is produced in today's world. The hormones, the stress that animals endure, the chemicals, the additives, all the things we never had to think about years ago. And for the first time, I'm truly questioning something I've done my whole life without a second thought. I find myself wondering, what is this food actually doing to my body, to my mood, to my spirit? The more I learn, the more I realize that eating meat isn't just a physical act, it may be affecting how I feel emotionally and how I interpret the world around me. I've noticed times when I feel heavy, tensed, or uneasy after certain meats. And it made me wonder if ingesting meat can influence a person's emotions, perceptions, and even their energy. It certainly can. It most certainly can. So now I'm conditioning giving it up, or at least cutting back sufficiently, not because someone told me to, but because I'm beginning to see the connection between what we consume and how we show up in our lives. At this stage in my life, I want clarity. I want peace. I want to feel light, balanced, and emotionally grounded. And I can't help but ask, can the food I've been eating for decades be shaping my emotional state more than I ever realized? I'm ready to explore this with an open mind and an open heart. That was beautiful, a beautiful letter. And we've been talking about it for a while, and this is very important today about eating meat because of what they're doing to the meats. When I was a little girl, I was raised in the South, so I was raised on all the meats. Pork. Not any wild, not any wild game. But I guess the wildest thing that we ate was maybe a duck or something like that. But yeah, I was raised on meat. Most of us were. But the thing is, as you grow and mature in life, when you know better, you must do better. You don't stay stagnant. We all have done something. But if you want to grow and to ascend spiritually, then you need to embrace when this information comes down the pike that can help you to be a better version of yourself. Ingesting meat, other than the fact the way that the animals are processed today, is pure torment. Even the seafood, I watch videos with the way that they do seafood, with the way that they do livestock. It's horrible. It's horrible. And even the chicken, they they are now ingesting the chicken with something to blow them up to make them look fatter. And I'm sure they did that with the turkeys that you all ate on Thanksgiving. You know, just because you've done something for most of your life doesn't mean it's the right thing to do. Even people who eat turkey, I remember saying the turkey make you sleepy. What is that? What is that in the turkey that makes you sleepy? But I do know that a lot of men who need to be rough and tough and all that, they eat beef. Beef. You understand? Look at where the beef is coming from. Look what it is. The energy, and the trauma that beef has gone through. There are some, it's kind of like farms near me, and this fella, I guess he raises them or he keeps them or whatever. But sometimes he has a lot of livestock, and then sometimes he doesn't have any. So I'm just wondering where all his livestock go. I guess they go to a slaughter somewhere. Maybe people, rent his property to store them until they go to the slaughterhouse. But still, animals are intelligent creatures. Just like you people that have a cat or a dog. And some people even have a pig as a pet. But they wouldn't think of eating pig if your pig is your pet. It's a lot of things that we teach our kids only because this is the way that we were taught. I remember when I was a little girl, my dad, we wanted a pony growing up. And my dad, he went and got us a goat. A goat. So anyway, as kids, we were little kids small enough to get on the goat's back and try to ride the goat. So we would do that and everything. And because we lived in the city, we couldn't really keep the goat for a long time. So he decided to have his father, who had a farm, like land, to keep the goat for us. And then we could go down there and enjoy the goat or whatever. Lo and behold, my grandfather, who came from a different lifestyle, came to the house with a platter full of goat meat. He saw the goat as food. You understand? But as kids, we had sense enough, no, we couldn't eat our friend. So, we didn't eat the goat. But see, the whole thing about that is the way that children interpret these things too. If you don't raise your children on meat, then they won't know the difference. They won't eat meat. Teach them to eat what we were designed to eat. And, if you're on your spiritual journey, you really, really should consider giving it up. Now, I confess for me, seafood was the last thing that I had to give up. But like I've said many, many times on my videos, to get something in life, you have to give up something. Something. You have to give up a belief sometimes. sometimes a habit, sometimes an addiction, but it's something that you must give up. That's a sacrifice for you to get something better. Okay? And it was a sacrifice for me to give up seafood. But since I gave it up, I find that my intuitive energy has gotten stronger. You see, because I didn't have the weight of that seafood blocking that energy. And that's what happens when you ingest meat. Heavy meat stays in your system a long time. So, it's constantly blocking any blessings that are coming your way. And it's full of traumatic energy in your system. Now, you know that this is going to affect you. So, for instance, you sit down to a dinner, and what dinners have you gone to that's usually just vegetarian, unless that's what you are, and you have been for a while. But normally, people, when they go out to eat, they go to a steak place or a seafood place. That's what a date is, eating. So you go out and you ingest all of this meat, and then you want to douse it down with liquor. So now you got these spirits in this liquor, and you got all of these negative energies in your body, and you don't think that that's going to affect your energy, how you perceive your partner, how you act with your partner, how you are with your partner? Yes, it affects the way that you are. It's true. You are what you eat. You are what you eat. And I believe that's why, one of the reasons why people are so angry and fearful. Fearful. You're eating fear from animals. Fear, rage, trauma. You're ingesting it into your energy when you eat these things. Get away from that. Now, it seems that more of the younger people are transitioning over to veganism or vegetarian. They're trying to get away from that meat thing. And I commend them for that, because that's the new generation. And I've said this a while, that I believe in the future that we're all going to be vegetarians. Nobody's going to be eating any meat anymore. I don't know if something's going to happen to all the meat or whatever, but I would just have this intuition that we're all going to be vegetarians in the future. And I'm not saying how far the future is, but you can see that the attitude is changing. So if someone in your family says, well, I'm not going to eat no turkey, don't jump all over them and try to convince them to eat meat. Or I'm not going to eat no ham or no beef. Don't try to shame them. Why are you not eating it? What's wrong with it? Things like that. No, be open. Have an open mind to these things, because it actually can save your life. Black people die from the foods they eat. It's all high fat and cholesterol. Soul food? Nah. Soul food came from slavery. These are scraps that the master didn't want, that we made a meal out of. Soul food. So people, look at reality for really what it is. And eat wisely. Eat spiritually. If you want to raise your vibration, and the reason you want to do that, because you want to have a happy and joyous life. And you want to be full of abundance. So you want to raise your frequency. Eating is a large part of it. Because you stop eating meat, and your vibration will automatically raise from where it is now. It will automatically raise from stop eating meat, flesh, fish, meat. And that includes pork, beef, lamb, goat, pigeon, pig, anything that's breathing, don't eat it. Don't eat it. All right. And you know, there is a question, and I'm still you know, delving into this one, eating products from meat sources. You know, some of the spiritualists say you shouldn't eat any products. For instance, there was a question that came in, the fish oil. You know, many spiritualists say, no, you don't, because it came from dead fish. You see, a lot of things that we ingest, we don't know where it comes from. It just has supplement, vitamin, sounds good, because that's what it does. We have no idea how a lot of things that we eat are being processed. And I do caution you to do your due diligence before you put it in your mouth. Anywhere you go, and even if you go to a so-called health food store, it's the same thing. You know, uh, merchants are trying to make money. So that's the bottom line. But it's up to you to consume products that are good for you. And again, I tell you, if you can grow your own, that I say that's the best ticket, because you know how it was grown, and you know how you know what was in the soil. You know, you didn't put no pesticides on it, and all of that. So it's the best way if you can grow your own. I'll tell you that. And just really be aware of what you are consuming. It really means so much. And so in summary, yes, eating flesh affects your mood, your spirit, and your overall energy, because what you put inside is bound to show outside. I hope you understand the message today, and I really hope that it helps someone. Now, those of you who may have a question that you'd like for me to answer, my email address is in the description. And if you're looking for today's affirmation, the link is also in the description. And don't forget to check out the High Value Woman Blueprint. And if you are tired of being invisible in your life, check the ebook out and reclaim your power. I thank you for joining me today. I really appreciate all of you. I wish you all the very best and happiness. And I really hope to see you next time.